Hey everyone, my name is Nolan and welcome back to the Pixel Gun 3D Top 10 video, and today we're doing the Top 10 automatic primaries. And you guys may be wondering why I'm doing that instead of just all primaries together. Well, if you guys don't know, almost all automatic primaries were reworked and are now pretty much all usable and good. So I just thought it'd be best if we divide it into automatic weapons and shotgun weapons. So that is what we'll be doing. There's plenty of weapons to do that with. In fact, I had to narrow this list down from about 30 weapons to 10 weapons. So there may be a lot of weapons that could possibly be interchanged. However, this is just, again, my personal opinion. So yeah, maybe I missed a weapon that you thought should be on here, but I guess we'll just have to jump into it and see what happens. Before I do, I just want to say there will be 2 promo codes in this video. If you redeem one promo code, you can't redeem the other one, so there should be about 600 uses, maybe. I don't really know for sure. And also, I will be giving away 2 pixel passes to 2 lucky players. All you gotta do is smash the like button on this video, and then go down into the comment section and comment your player ID so I can add you. I will pick 2 random people from the comment section, and I'll do that in a couple of days so I can give people plenty of time to enter. So yeah, if you want to enter in that, definitely make sure to leave your ID down in the comments, and also just subscribe, okay? Subscribe for more Pixel Gun Top 10s. I will be doing more Top 10s and more giveaways in the near future, so you won't want to miss it. Alright guys, and with that all out of the way, we can jump into the list. Okay, really quickly, I just want to mention 3 legendary primaries that I think are kind of worth getting if you guys are kind of beginners and want something cheap. Industrial Nailer is pretty good because it has a high damage per shot. Black Mamba is just very well rounded for a legendary weapon and is 100% worth it. It's very consistent and is also good at mythical. And Liquid Fire has an insane amount of damage. It hits for over 40 damage to a headshot, making it perform like a mythical weapon, except it's only at legendary. So this is probably the best legendary weapon that I'm going to recommend for you guys. Alright, now we have the honorable mentions. The first honorable mention for the mythical list is Xmas Vibe Setter. It is a very good primary, however, you really have to rely on hitting headshots, which can be kind of hard to do. And just overall, the other primaries on this list have a higher DPS than this one, so I would just personally not recommend it, even though I really love this weapon a lot. The next honorable mention is, in my opinion, the single most overrated weapon in the game, AK-556. Yes, it is good if you can get the rage all the way up. However, that is pretty much impossible to do unless you are in a lobby of bots because of all the one-shot weapons and ultimate defense armor in the game. It's just really hard to do. If you cannot get the rage activated and get a couple kills, it's just not worth it. I recommend using a higher damage per second primary because it's just kind of mid otherwise. And the next honorable mention is Neutron Pulsator. It is actually a pretty good primary. It has a really high mobility. It has X-ray, which makes it pretty useful, but its damage just doesn't really compete with the other primaries, and also it chews through ammo so fast. But I'm pretty sure you can get it with coins. You used to be able to. If you can get it with coins, it's kind of worth it. Otherwise, wouldn't really recommend it. Alright, and the number 10 spot is going to be Black Obelisk. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be ticked off because I just asked my community what they prefer, Black Obelisk or Combat Overlords, and it was like over 80% of people said Combat Overlords. However, guys, the damage per second of this weapon is actually not that much less than Combat Overlords, and I feel like this is just more useful to use. It has weakening, which makes it more likely for you to win 1v1 situations. It has disabled jumps, which makes it even more likely for you to win 1v1 situations. And yeah, its damage per second is still pretty decently high. I just think it's way more useful than Combat Overlords. Combat Overlords is still definitely a really good primary, and it also has 100 mobility, so it's pretty dang useful still. I just personally prefer Black Obelisk. That's really the only reason why it's on this instead of Combat Overlords. Okay, for the number 9 spot, I have Project Dolphin. I know what you guys are thinking. What the heck? Why? If you guys are watching this in the premiere, go ahead, leave your guys' guesses. What do you think the DPS on this weapon is? 150? 160? Maybe you're gonna get ambitious and maybe you think it's 180. Nope. 200 damage per second. That is one of the highest damage per seconds of all primaries ever, and it does 116 damage to a burst headshot, which means in theory it is a 2-shot headshot. This primary is extremely underrated and gets me really good gameplay, and I actually win so many matches just spamming this primary. It's unbelievably good and extremely underrated, and honestly might be one of my new favorite weapons. Next up on this list is going to be Cyborg Hands, and I believe the damage on this is around 176 damage per second. However, I'm not going to lie, when actually using these weapons, I feel like it's a lot higher than what the wiki actually says it is. What I really like about this weapon is, well, at least it used to be available for 1,000 coupons, but apparently the gallery is temporarily shut down. But anyways, what I liked is, yeah, it's a very, very good weapon, especially for 1,000 coupons. But wait, we'll get into some better ones later. But still, I just think it's a very, very well-rounded primary weapon, and I highly recommend you get it. You guys can see I'm absolutely shredding people with it. Very, very, very good primary. Next up is going to be Gun Force PGX, and this weapon has been buffed a lot recently, and now I believe it has the highest damage per second for all primary automatics, which I believe it's 225, which, yeah, makes it very, very good for getting kills. Really, the only drawback that keeps this weapon so low on the list is the travel time. It just kind of makes your gameplay a bit more inconsistent, which I don't really like too much. However, I still really like this weapon, and it is fun to use, and honestly, the fact that it has a high damage and travel time kind of balances it out, which makes it pretty equal to the rest of these weapons. So I think Gun Force PGX is a great weapon. Next up, we have Crescent Power, and I'm not gonna lie, this weapon would be way higher on the list if its default rarity was mythical. However, its default rarity is legendary, so unfortunately the gameplay is gonna be way better than what you guys would get it at. However, at mythical, this primary is so freaking good. Its damage is incredibly high, and yeah, it has charm, so players have reduced damage when attacking you. So yeah, it's just a pretty good high damage primary. That's really all there is to it, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's it. Next up, we have Ice Chaser, which has 181 damage per second, and I don't know if that's calculating the cursed effect, because as you guys can see, it inflicts the cursed effect, which just means that the next shot taken with a cursed weapon increases damage. So if it is including that, then that makes sense, because the damage on this thing is absolutely crazy. You guys can probably see that in the background gameplay. If the 181 damage per second doesn't include cursed, then the damage on this thing would be absolutely insane. And yeah, this primary is extremely underrated, and again, you can get it with coupons once the gallery gets fixed. Yeah, it's just an insane primary. Highly recommend you guys get it, but we'll get to even better 1,000 coupon weapons. Alright, next up we have Golden Bros. Again, over 200 damage per second, which is very, very good. However, it does have critical, so the gameplay might be a little bit inconsistent. However, I usually say critical doesn't really matter with automatic weapons because, I mean, yeah, it's automatic, so the critical alternates, you know. You get the idea, okay? Critical doesn't really matter too much, so yeah, this weapon just has an insanely high damage per second. Other than that, it's not really too special. In fact, it actually almost is a little bit of a disadvantage because you have that giant beacon that tells everyone where you are, which is the damage boost to allies thing, which is pretty dang annoying. But other than that, yeah, it's a very, very high damage primary that I highly recommend you guys get. It's just pretty hard to, considering you have to get it in Clan Wars. Next up, we have Bad Comment, which has 192 damage per second, which is absolutely crazy, and I feel like the higher the fire rate, the better the weapon is in general. You guys can see, dude, this thing melts people! It's so crazy good. It feels like it has a way higher damage per second than 192, and I think it's like literally just because of the fire rate. It's so incredibly good, and it's also a little bit useful for certain circumstances because of the target mark. But other than that, I think that that's kind of all that makes this weapon special. The high damage and target mark is really all that makes this weapon unique. Alright, number 2 is Golden Friend. Never have I ever thought that Golden Friend would be one of the best weapons in Pixel Gun. However, I think it has around 200, maybe 201 damage per second, which absolutely blows my mind. This thing melts people. It is so incredibly underrated. I can't believe I never see anyone using this. This is one of my all-time favorite weapons, so I may be a little bit biased, but the reason why it's one of my all-time favorite weapons is because not only is it cool, but I actually won it way back in the Lucky Chest when you only win Golden Friend. Fun fact, Golden Friend was a common weapon that you could win. Like its rarity was common, and it was incredibly rare to win. It took like 1,000 spins, which is like 1,000 days to win, and I actually won it. So it was like a really rare thing. It was like a flex, and it sucked. But now it's good, and I love it. I just love this primary so much, and I'm so happy. It's insane. It melts people. Alright, finally in number 1 we have Stormtrooper Exoskeleton. The damage per second is 195, which basically kind of makes this the single most well-rounded weapon or automatic primary weapon in Pixel Gun 3D. It has a very high capacity, it has a decent fire rate, it has a really high damage, and it also slows the target, which makes it useful to use. So I would just personally pick this automatic primary over literally any other automatic primary just because it's so well rounded. Actually, personally, I would pick Golden Friend, of course, but I mean, yeah, I guess this is just, I argue that it's the best primary in the game, automatic primary in the game. Also, you can get this and Golden Friend with 1,000 coupons now, except you can't because the gallery's closed, but when it reopens, you should be able to get them with 1,000 coupons, so I highly recommend you do it, because I literally win games with Golden Friend and this weapon just spamming it all the time. So, yeah, it is definitely worth it 100%. Alright guys, well that's going to wrap up the video there. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to smash the like button again and also consider subscribing if you guys want to see more Pixel Gun top 10s like this. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I hope to see you guys all in the next video. Peace!